here is our slow cooker that we're going to make this stock in. So, putting in chicken wings. You can use a carcass if you have one. A pig's trotter. Again, this is key to this stock. We're going to use some vegetables. A leek, a brown onion, a carrot, some sticks of celery, make sure they're all washed. Chop them up, leek goes in, celery goes in, carrots go in, onion, and not too fine. Some garlic, some big cloves there. Peel them, chuck them in. Then we're going to add apple cider vinegar, bay leaves, and whole peppercorns. So apple cider vinegar goes in. Make sure it has the mother. Whole peppercorns go in. Small handful, 10 to 12. And some salt. I'm using ground Himalayan crystal salt, as you can see. From here, I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne pepper, a little bit of nutmeg, and some turmeric. Just shake those in. Not too much of the nutmeg and the cayenne pepper, a little bit more of the turmeric. From here, start pouring your water in. Stir it around a little bit, as you can see. It's a bit chunky, so it's not going to stir that easily. And let the water just cover the vegetables. You can see this is quite high. Some of the veggies in the pig's trotter are just popping out. From here, lid goes on. Nice and simple. And we're going to turn it on. So, you can see I put the setting to high. It's going to stay there for about the first hour or two. Time now is 2:28. So, this stock will then come down to low after, like I said, an hour or two. Not massively important, but you'll leave it for a day. So here this is the next day at 1:52. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in some flat leaf parsley. You can use normal parsley if you would like. Chop it up roughly, doesn't need to be too fine, and stir it into the mix. You can see it looks a lot different to what it did 24 hours ago. So parsley goes in, stir it around. Again, it doesn't have to be too much, just try and get it in there. Lid goes back on, 3:17 on my watch, so we're going to leave this for about another hour or two. And here we are. Lid comes off, you can see it's got a very dark aroma. I'm going to start spooning this out with a large slotted spoon. So just nice and gently, start spooning it out into a bowl right next to the slow cooker. You'll get all the vegetables obviously coming out, so just start pouring that in. Once you get further to the bottom, you'll see some of the bones and chicken wings come out. Once you've got most of it out, you'll then use a tea towel, grab the pot of the slow cooker and pour over a sieve into a large pot. The sieve will get the remainder of the chunky stuff out. You'll see it's not that deep, about an inch or so. I'm going to put it on the heat now and let it boil. So what we're going to do is reduce it down for a while. So make sure you turn the fan on because it will start to steam and make a bit of smell in the kitchen. So it's gone on there at 3:26. You can see it bubbling away. I'm going to leave it for around about half an hour or so. That will of course depend on the amount of liquid you have to start with and the size of your slow cooker. So remove it from the heat and let it cool down. You'll see once it does cool, a film starts to develop over the top. This is the point that you can either scrape this off or stir it in and pour into a solid and clean glass jar. So pour it in, and again, depending on how much volume you have, you might need to make two little jars like I have here, and you're still going to allow them to cool. So write a date on them, and you can see at the top there isn't really too much fat formed, but once it's completely cooled, this has been in the fridge for a while now, the fat will rise to the top. So you're just going to scrape that fat off, discard it, and you'll be left with a very gelatinous stock, as you can see here. Really simple recipe to have it is spoon a teaspoon or so out. You'll get an idea for this once you've tasted it a little bit. You can see how gelatinous it is. So teaspoon into a mug. From here, add boiling water, a little bit of cold water if it's a bit too hot, stir it together, and from there, a nice cup of homemade bone broth. A great addition to breakfast instead of a cup of tea, and also brilliant to use for making things like curries, cooking quinoa, and all sorts of other little recipes like stews and casseroles, etc. Make sure to subscribe. See you next time.